Ford Video Guy Studio in Salina, Kansas, it's McArthur Live with Tim Bartz and Sarah Davis. For all the information on ordering and production, Ford news, recalls, debunking all the fake news on social media, and whatever's on their mind, here's your hosts, Tim and Sarah. Welcome in to episode, what are we in, 192 or something like that? Or 193? I don't know. One of those numbers. You guys can see it there if you're looking at the podcast. But we're going to have a little fun. Of course, every week we like to talk about something that's in the news. And Norra was just last weekend. So we're going to talk about the Baja 1000 and some of the results. And I don't have a lot to cover on that, but there's a couple cool things to cover. And move that just a little bit. Sarah was sitting early when I was setting up the camera. Anyway, we're going to have some fun talking about that. But we also have some other, I think, a lot of dealer news this week. Now, some weeks we don't really have any. This week we got a bunch. So we're going to talk about some of that as well, including some Bronco custom order packages and some things that really nobody in the media has really talked about that I could tell about the Bronco custom, the Ford custom garage packages. Anyway, but I think it's cool. And I went ahead and we tested the system out to see how it works. But we'll talk about that later too. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I didn't look at any order guide updates, but we'll talk about something else that came out today. Part of Is It True? And
do I know about it?
The article's right there. But yeah, we'll get into that. We'll have some fun. Plus, of course, take your questions live, which is the main reason we do this. Which is how this live stream started 191 episodes ago, was to answer your questions, which we're going to make sure we do. And we make sure it gets done on almost every episode. So how was your weekend?
Busy. It was very busy. Saturday, we got a couple of projects in. We painted, you know how they have painted curbs where you put like your address?
Yeah. We
did one of those. And it's a sunflower. That I did by hand.
Cool.
A little sunflower on it. So, and then Mother's Day, I was at the zoo for a vendor sale.
That's right. This weekend was Mother's Day.
Without kids.
Yeah.
I got to be kid-free from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
I tried to do an install on the Bronco. I mean, I installed it, but didn't go as well like I planned. So, because we had the IAG front skid plate that I always like the look of it. It's black instead of the silver from the ARB. But there's a lot of great ARB underbody skid plates, and I don't want to have to replace all of those because that's not cheap, doing one for each one of those. So I'm like, if I just want to just change out the front one so it looks good and leave the rest. They said it would work. I don't think they really looked close enough because it didn't work. But I think it'll work if I use ARB's front engine skid plate. So I have that on order now.
Yes.
So, but then there's actually a benefit to that. It's almost like it's a blessing, because the engine skid plate that AIG has actually has a little spot for you to take off just to drain the oil. So that's really, I think, convenient. I know our service department will really like me for that because they won't have to take my whole engine skid plate off to do my oil changes anymore. They can just take one bolt off, do the oil change, and put it back on. So they'll like me for that. And so we'll see. It looks like after I've taken that one off that it should work around the rest of the ARB skid plate. So hopefully won't have any more cost incurred after this. But I can tell you, having just the front one on looks really sharp.
Yes.
It does look much better. Anyway, so that's kind of what I worked on. And then, of course, Mother's Day, hung out with your mom. And so, yeah. Anyway, yeah. About it.
I think so.
Yep. McArthur's back to polo shirts for the summer. We're starting it early. Usually we wait till Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice. I pulled out some of the old polos, including the Maverick one.
Mm-hmm.
We wore that yesterday, but yeah, I'm looking forward to
Here's
that.
one of the McArthur's uniform pieces.
Okay.
We're a team.
Okay. Anyway.
My computer just shut down.
All right. So before we go too much further, it's time for that. What's in Tim's cup? So I have the cup course sent to me from Jack, and it looks like there's nothing in my cup, but there is something in the cup.
You too?
So it must be clear. Anyway, so you can guess that, or you can guess what's in this cup. I have two.
I'll
Anyway.
give a hint on mine. Mine is in this cup. Can't see it, but mine is also clear, but it's not the same thing.
Correct. Anyway, so you guys can guess that. But yeah, other than that, let's see what else is anything else in the news for us. We do have some sale going on merch. So Ford Video Guy merch. So if you let, of course, this is available on the Ford Video Guy merch website. Link is in the description. There are sales going on right now. 10% off 3 or more products between now and the 14th, which is tomorrow. But starting the next day, the bigger deal, the 15th to the 19th, is 20% off everything.
Ooh.
So shirts, hats, tumblers, all kinds of stuff on there.
I might need to go order a few things.
Anyway, might need to add some other stuff in there for this year. But anyway, so there you go. There's some stuff in there: t-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of stuff.
Can I add my all women driven?
That half is that quarter zip is like one of my favorite. Mounts to metal is pretty comfortable, but if you don't like hoodies, I like that quarter zip. It's still my favorite.
That's right. I need to go look for that mountains to metal jacket.
Anyway,
at some point.
So, yeah. All right. Yes. And then you can go to our website, FordVideoGuyMedia.com. 4 articles that have dropped in the last week since last Tuesday. I've figured out a way to source and have articles written a little faster. And so there are some articles I have been writing, including one on the Ford Custom Garage we're going to talk about later today in the episode. So that one went live as well. Like I said, I think I'm the only one out there that's kind of talked about the fact that you can put that on an order for a 25 model year. So anyway, all right. Well, that's all I have in that.
Maverick Meetup.
Yes.
So Maverick Meetup, I had posted about a hotel block that I had gotten together. It is sold out.
Oh.
12 rooms sold out.
Will they do more?
I need to call her. She wasn't in today. She'll be in tomorrow. So I'll be calling her to see if she has more availability. If not, I have added a nice list, or not like nice list, but a list of hotels around the Salina area, along with the RV parks in the area. Those are good hotels to go to. If you kind of stray off that list, you're going to start getting into some of the not nice hotels.
Yep. And if you really want like a really nice experience, there's that one downtown where
that's going for $500 a night.
Well, okay.
During Lead Sled, that is $500 a night.
I'm not surprised.
It's $200 on a regular day.
Because if you have a room, you could see the
yes.
Lead Sled going by, right? And there's every night there's cars driving along.
I mean, take that road down. It takes you to the bridge that goes across into the park where Lead Sled's at. Like that is
right
the
there.
hub. In fact, that's where registration for Lead Sled is now at, is the lobby of that hotel.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Well,
so, but regular nights, it's like $250 a night. And for Lead Sled, it's like nearly $500. It's crazy.
Anyway, but if you're looking for a campground,
we have 2.
For the fact that I am a campground connoisseur now, and so I feel like it's a little more difficult, but I'm still getting pretty good deals. So KOA is a really good.
We don't have a KOA here.
Yeah, we do. Did they do it? Did they?
It's now Salina Campground,
and
it's no longer a KOA.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we have the Kansas Wesleyan RV Park. What used to be the KOA is now Salina Campgrounds. They're pretty good, and then there's one that's 15 minutes away. That's an RV park as well, but it looks really nice.
Okay, there you go. Anyway, a couple. So I'm actually we're staying at 2 KOAs on our trip. So I've gotten 3 out of the 4. There's 4 different campgrounds we're going to be staying at, because what we do is since it is going to be more than we can't get there in one day.
Mm-hmm.
I won't drive more than about 10 hours, 10 to 12 in a day. So we're going to head out on Friday night and stay at a campground on the way down right before we get to Oklahoma. So we're going to stay at a campground there just overnight, and then we'll spend 3 or 4 nights in a KOA in Flagstaff, and then there's a really nice campground in Utah we're going to stay at for a couple nights, and then on the way back there's a KOA we're going to stay at. So I've booked 3 of the. I think, have I booked that KOA? I don't think I did. I think I still need to book one, but anyway, I didn't do that one last night. But sometimes, I kind of wait. Like when we went to Tennessee, I got the campground on the way there. But on the way back, I did not get the campground because I'm like, I don't know how far. And I'm glad I didn't, because we got a lot further than I thought.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, is sometimes I wait because there's a lot of campgrounds, and I'm waiting and see, hey, where we're going to get to. Where can we get to?
See, and we're tent site, so I have to plan ahead a little bit more, because a lot of the times it's an RV, which I've been told you could possibly set up a tent at an RV site depending on what ground they have.
Now we ended up finding a KOA on the way back from Tennessee. And what was great about them was that a lot of them will do is, if they're not booked, then you can just go and even if you come in late, you can get a spot. So you just pick a spot. If you're only overnighting, it's just that one night and they don't have anybody, they'll let you overnight that night as long as you're gone by like noon or 11.
Yeah.
And so that was, and I don't know if it's just that KOA or all of them, but that was really nice being able to do that.
I think most KOAs like that. I know the BV Overlook and Buena Vista is similar. They'll let people come in overnight, find a spot, and then divvy up in the morning.
Yep. I mean, why not? I mean, that's a great way to have a little extra income, right? Most of the KOs are, depending on which one you're looking at, but I think I average about $50 a night.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty darn good, because any more hotels are over $100.
Yeah. KOAs also tend to have nicer bathrooms with locks. Some of them even will do like a shower fee for just the shower.
That's where I have, because the camper I have doesn't have a bathroom in it. So we like to shower every day.
Yeah. So it's either go find when you're traveling and you're stopping over for just a night, or you stayed at a campground that doesn't have a shower. You could stop at one of those on the way that has a shower.
Like Loves and stuff they'll have, like, for truckers.
Yeah.
But now that was one of the things looking at the Grand Canyon, was a lot of the campgrounds there were okay, but they didn't have like facilities, or like the bathrooms were like porta potties basically. And then their showers were like, okay, or you have to pay. It was like so much for 5 minutes. It's like $2.50 for 5 minutes or something. And I'm like, okay.
So for it to be a KOA, it has to have certain amenities and be at a certain standard. So KOAs will tend to be cleaner and better. Yeah.
I mean, the one that we stayed at, and where was that at? I don't know. I think we got into Illinois. It was pretty nice. But anyway. Yeah.
Anyways.
All right.
We went off on a tangent on campground.
This is a Ford website. We're talking about camping. That's all right. Right? You pull campers with your trucks when you're SUVs. Anyway. All right.
So we're going to talk about the meetup every week.
Yeah.
Going forward. But yeah.
For those who don't know, it is
July.
I mean, July 25th,
26th. 25th and 26th. Yep.
I think we're going to be taking the week before that.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Colorado again.
Yeah.
Or Utah and go off-road.
Yeah.
We're going to take 2 vacations this summer.
It's the Friday. It's the last Friday, Saturday of the month. We also have lead sled going on that weekend, so there's plenty to see.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even have to go into the lead sled grounds to see the cars. You can just sit outside your hotel and watch them drive by.
Or just drive around town and you'll see them.
Yeah. Go sit down on Santa Fe, any of those.
Yep. Anyway. So fun times. All right. What else we got here? We're going to do, don't forget about, we talked about the website. You can see the blogs there on the website. You can also see other ways to support us if you want there. The merch site's there as well. Law McArthur does have a merch site as well, so you can check that out. So that link is in the description as well if you want Law McArthur specific merch, which is a lot of cool stuff. They have hats and some jackets and stuff in there.
Yeah.
In fact, I have one of the hats over there. But anyway, so those always good if you want to get that. That's available for you. And let's see what else. yeah, don't forget you can also become a member of the channel.
Yes.
So,
Which, if you would like to do so, it is the join button right beside the subscribe button. If you're an iPhone user, you do have to do things differently. You have to go to your web browser, go up to the top where the link is at, go to little a and big A, request desktop browser, and at that point, you should be able to see it. If you ever have any questions on how to do that, let me know. Give me a call. I can certainly walk
and
you
they
through
might
it.
have updated that. We've been
They
saying
may
this
have.
for I don't know how many episodes now, but most
2
of the
years.
membership content is under the membership tab, or if you have your notifications turned on, you'll get notifications of those videos as well. We like to give our members a lot of things for the $5 a month. And what we'd like to do, is try to get you the videos a little early for members. I think on Monday night it was just about 15 minutes early, but that still was a little early. And then we also do a lot walk most Thursdays afternoons. We walk the lot and give you a couple of different things, what I'm thinking, that kind of stuff. And then Fridays we like to do a live stream at 4:00, and we have a little fun for 1 hour, just chit chat and see what's going on.
If we have any members that have ordered with us, we track their order. We do a couple of other things.
Well, like there's going to be things that we talk about tonight. We talked about Friday.
Yeah.
We they're almost like a sounding board. If you want some of the early content, you can be a member and you get that information, that kind of stuff. So
we get free rides to North Pole and the mach-e. No.
It takes us between now and December to get there.
And then for our Maverick meetup, we'll do a dinner for our members as well and get to chat with them.
Yeah. And then when we go to these special events, we're going to start doing, especially the Bronco super sales and stuff. And we're going to do special events. So also for the meetup coming up, we'll have a special member dinner night too, as well.
The members here at first.
Yeah. So anyway, just a little perk just to say thanks. That's what that's all about. So, all right. And so that's it about that. All right. Don't forget, we did a video yesterday.
Yes.
What's funny is, let me give you a little story here. Yesterday's video, the Maverick video, actually was a 30-minute video. But I was like, that's a lot of stuff in 30 minutes. I think we better cut this down. So I think it ended up being a 12-minute video or something. So there's more that I recorded that we'll have for a part 2 of that for next week. So I kind of have that ready. So I'll throw together a quick little intro for next week. But we also did in yesterday's video talk about some of the Maverick deals we have right now.
Yeah.
Because there is employee pricing on 24 and 25 qualifies for employee pricing, including Lobo. In case you're out there and you don't know that, I know there was we talked last week about a customer where a dealer didn't give them the employee pricing, which I was going to make that as part of the Is It True, but we did talk about last week. If a dealer does an employee pricing on one deal, they got to do it for all of them, including everything that qualifies. So if that customer wanted to, they could get that dealer in trouble, but they don't want to. So it's their local dealer. So I get that. Anyway, we are doing below. So the Ford's deal is that any dealer that does one deal has to do all of them at or below the employee or A plan price. We're below on about everything that qualifies. So everything that qualifies, we're at least $500 below the A plan price. Our mach-e or our Mavericks, our 24 Mavericks we have left are $1,250 below A plan price. So that's close to $3,000 off MSRP. Our Lobos today, as of about an hour ago, went to $1,000 below A plan price on our 8 Lobos. So if you've been looking at a Lobo, get a great deal. So there's a dealer that I know of recently that not only did not honor the employee pricing, but priced the customer up $2,500 over MSRP. So think about it, like, man, if you got that Lobo from us, I could have saved you probably close to $5,000. Wow. Anyway, but we have that going on. Plus our Broncos, our 24 Broncos, all of our 24 inventory is like way below. Our F-150s are like $5,000 below A plan. Broncos are like $7,000 below A plan, I think. All of those are priced, and even some of our 25s are pretty well priced, at least $5,000 below A plan. So anyway, we like to call it employee pricing plus, because we come up with this plus concept for this year that we do more than most dealers. Like our live stream, that's a plus. What other dealerships are doing this? Anyway, so there you go. There's that going on. And Bill Wild Wednesday, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to talk about. Actually, probably talk about some stuff we're going to talk about tonight in part of that video, because not everybody watches these live streams. So, and then last week I called it a Ford Friday, but a video on Friday on the Expedition. We did a walk around and talked about one of the glitches that's happening with the third row seat. I also made that into its own short that was about 3 minutes long, or less than 3, because that's what I'm capped at. So if you want to check that out and how to reset it, you can watch that video. And somebody had said, well, you're not really helping sell the vehicle when you're talking about an issue with the third row seat and hidden buttons and this and this and this. But
But that's the thing. Now you know. Yeah. So is it a problem, or is this now a benefit?
Yeah, you to decide, but it's not to us. It's not all about the sale. It's about the knowledge and informing people to do what they want to do. So anyway, let's see here. What else? Yeah, we'll see. What else? I don't know. It's about that. And then this week, we're going to do a video on connected services on Friday. So we're going to go over the connected services we talked about last week. We're going to do a separate video on that, on what all the connected services are and everything else. So there you go. All right. We're already 22 minutes in. We better hop to this and give shout outs to our members.
All right. First off, Blue Truck is now a member.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That is a Blue Truck.
Now, Blue Truck, I don't know. Are you Dan, who I talked to yesterday? Did you figure it out? I don't know. All right. I knew I had someone that was wanting to join. He needed some help. We have Ford Enthusiast, member for 25 months. Hey, Tim and Sarah. Hello to Longmont Crew, celebrating 25 months with my new 25 Bronco Sport. 25 months? Oh.
No, but it's 25 months.
Okay.
Member, so.
Yeah, with my new 25 Bronco Sport Badlands Sasquatch. Life is good.
There you go.
Yes, and he actually had a question. He was wondering about a meetup for the Bronco Sport owners. So I think we
just don't have as much of a following of them as we do the Mavericks.
Or I think it's more of you have a following in Bronco and Bronco Sport. It's more of that you go ahead and see them at Supercell.
Yeah.
And so they're more keen, or they're more apt to ooh, that hurt. They're more apt to meet you at a Supercell than take a specific trip to come here.
Yeah.
Where there's no off-roading availability. There's not much to do here.
Yeah.
Having a Maverick event here kind of is a little bit easier.
Yes, we do a Maverick event here, but like Bronco, you'll see me at Bronco Supercell a couple times a year.
But you are welcome to bring your Bronco or Bronco Sport and come hang out with us. We are open to that.
Yeah, we won't have the this event will be just Mavericks because we don't have a Cars and Coffee in conjunction with this.
That's right. But they're still welcome to come join us.
Unless they're willing to go a week early on the Cars and Coffee this year for that month.
Right. Now, I mean, last year it was kind of like our YouTube community, and we had switched it up to that so that more people felt that they could come. But we still only had Mavericks come. We didn't really have any Bronco Sport. So we went back to Maverick meetup with, if members want to come and join us, you are free to come and join us, hang out with us, come to, Law McArthur, sit and chat with all of us, the Maverick owners.
Yep.
So
otherwise, we'll see you at a Bronco event near you. Well, probably not near you.
Which
it's a long way for me to drive.
I mean, he's up in New York, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys could meet in Tennessee. Get to Supercell.
The other thing to do is, not that we're going to be there this year, but Carlisle. That's a fun event. There'll be a lot of Broncos and Bronco Sports at Carlisle.
Now, I don't know how much Bronco Sport gets up there.
There was when we were there was quite a few.
They
And that
only
was a
had,
couple of years ago.
but they only had the old gen. They didn't have
No,
any of the new gens.
They did.
Okay.
Yep, they did.
Because I could have sworn that Maverick almost beat out the Broncos.
I don't think so.
Either way, Carlisle's a fun time. And if you
They're
know
quirky.
Maverick people, go over and hang out with the Maverick people because they're a whole lot of fun over there.
Yep.
So, all right, onwards. We have Bucko. Good evening, everyone. And this week we have Ridgeview. He is back. Took a 60-mile ride to the Western Mountains and got 51 miles per gallon. And half my distance of 60 miles was electric. That Maverick just keeps getting better.
What amazes me is how well they do on the highway, because we know that in the city, there's really it's for the city driving, but still even on the highway, because TFL did a video on they let the vehicle get broken in first. They said Ford told them you need to wait till it hits this many miles before you do that test, because that way it's broken in, right? And they did that, and they got for like 44 or something like that or what did it say that it was supposed to get 34, and they got like 40 miles per gallon on the highway at highway speeds. I think around Denver it's like 65.
Yeah.
So I think they were going like 65 miles an hour, whatever, and they were getting they got 40 miles per gallon on the highway.
Right.
That's just incredible. So,
all right, we have Brian Foster. Welcome back, Ridgeview. I hope the cruise and vacation exceeded expectations. It's a gorgeous day here in Southern California. It feels strange hanging out here now without the Maverick, now that the Maverick is gone. Well, you are always welcome here. I know that you have a host of Ford at your house still, so.
right.
Even if you didn't. All right, we have Blue Truck. Good evening from Illinois. Rob Hall, good evening, all. Mike M, welcome back. I just returned from DC, but with Science Infection going to do Tail of Dragon Friday. Part of Foothills near the tail was shut down due to earthquake. No real damage and it's back open.
Oh, good. Yeah, he didn't. That's just that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, good afternoon and or evening, everyone from the upper left coast.
I got that sticker somewhere.
We have Alan. Good evening, all. Everyone had a great day. Welcome back. Looks like you had a great cruise. We have Ghosting. Hello, all. Our Quib. Evening, all. Douglas, Greater Northern Virginia, is here tonight. We have Steve Young. Welcome back. We have Alan here tonight. Let's see. Clarence is here, and he says he camped out for a few months in Fort Carson, Colorado, and then more camping around 8,000 miles away. So now it's hotels or he stays home. We have
camping's for us right now. We'll see how long that lasts, but for right now, we're making it work.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, I know it's difficult because like when you're looking for a hotel room, it's like, okay, well, is it going to be this nice or is it going to be that nice? You have that where you got to really struggle. Sometimes in the campsites you do too. It's like do they have the biggest thing for me is, do they have a bathhouse? And then
the stickers, terrain.
As long as it's got electric and water, then I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't even need water because there's one that we're staying at where it doesn't have water.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna fill up the tank just because we use water for is to clean the dishes. Like we'll use cups and stuff for breakfast and all that. So it's mainly just to clean dishes, really, more than anything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna fill up the tank
to
get us back through a couple days.
Don't know how many stickers there are in an area like the thorny stickers. You don't know how many are in an area until you have dogs and kids.
All right, I find
them. They're like magnets. Yep. We have Buck. Yeah, I've never had any trouble with the backup camera on my Bronco, but it looks like there's a recall for it. My Ford Pass app told me no parts for the remedy yet. Any timetable? I should have saved that one.
I don't know. I just printed them.
We have Ronald Smith. Good
I
evening.
think that one they talked about was the one we talked about like a week or 2 weeks ago. Was that
Mhm.
from? Oh no, that's the child safety log. I don't know. We'll look and see. Keep going.
All right. Now,
Oh, here. It's not just for Bronco though. It's for like every vehicle.
oh,
So, rear camera screen software update, advanced notice. Yeah, it's for like every vehicle: mach-e, F-150, Mustang, Transit, Expedition, Navigator, Super Duty, Escape, Corsair, Bronco, Ranger. So on Bronco, it's 21. It says 21 to 24.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, we'll cover it later.
so Rob Hallmark has a great idea. Rendezvous in the Ozarks in October. I want to go.
They have a lot of events they go to. It's pretty cool. We got to head down there one of these times.
The Ozarks are in Missouri.
Well, he's in Arkansas, so they go into Arkansas.
Okay.
The Ozarks in the southern,
That's right.
southern part.
But I still love the Ozarks. All parts of it.
Yeah, you're thinking of Lake of the Ozarks, but they're the real Ozarks.
They're the real Ozarks. Is that where the movie came from, or the TV show?
I don't know.
Have you watched that
We got
TV show?
Steve B in here.
We do.
We're heading your way soon. Or you know what? It's not that far. Just a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah. But Ozarks would be doable.
Yeah.
To go meet.
Have to look it up. Yeah, every year I say I'd love to like go down through Arkansas on the way to Tennessee, but since we can't leave till Wednesday, we're just like get there as quick as we can.
Yeah.
Because it's like 17-hour drive if we go that way and around. But anyway. All right.
I have a thought that I wanted to talk to you about the interview from yesterday. I'll remember it later.
By the way, watch her interview she had with Shelby Hall from last week.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Shelby Hall.
She was a lot of fun.
So, but anyway. So, all right. Yeah. What about a good dealer moment? Do you have one? So while you're looking at that, so any guesses for what's in Tim's cup?
Yes. They're starred.
Any right?
I have no idea. I don't know what's in your cup.
Chicken broth. It's clear. Lemonade. I do like a lemonade once in a while. I like cherry lemonade more than regular lemonade, though. But no, it is a C4 energy drink. They have is it the strawberry? They have a strawberry one over there now in the vending machine. Now in here, because this could be a lemonade, Chick-fil-A, but it is a root beer.
Something sugar-free.
Root beer is not really sugar-free, but I've been doing pretty good with that. I actually had to go buy new pants the other day because the other ones were too big, and so I lost a couple inches out of my waist. So it's working. I haven't had a lot of candy. That was difficult at the beginning, but now it's like it's not something I feel like I have to have. So
okay, I'm pretty sure I have one. 1 second. Nope, that one's a warning.
It is a sugar-free C4. All the C4s I think are sugar-free, but it's a strawberry one. They switched it out.
Got it. Did you do the banner?
Mm-mm. Look at this though. Only 6 hours to Ozark from Salina, Ozark, Arizona, or Arkansas.
See, that's like going to Colorado.
That's like going to Colorado. One of the things I like about Colorado is we did it one night. Is we went to see the Strop collection. We left here at 4 or something, and we got to Colorado by 10 o'clock that night. I'm like, okay, so this can be achieved in one night.
Yes.
So I can get there in a night, which makes going to Colorado and doing some weekend off-roading a little bit easier.
Yes.
If I take a Monday off, have over a 3-day weekend. So we're talking about, because your mom usually can't always go to Supercell, Colorado because of the timing.
Yeah.
And I said, but I already know that Brian and Melissa will be up there the weekend before Supercell.
Oh.
So maybe what we should do is that's the weekend of Labor Day. I said, you'll be off Monday. I said, so maybe what we should do is go up Friday night, go off-road on Saturday, Sunday, and maybe a little for Sunday or Monday morning or whatever, and then head back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go back for Supercell. Something like that.
All right. I got my good dealer moment. All right. This is Brownsford of Johnstown in Johnstown, New York. I want to say it's Tanya, but it might be Tanya. Wilkins was the sales associate. Absolutely flawless transaction with numerous updates pertaining building, delivering, and arrival of the vehicle. So, Johnstown, New York. Go to Brownsford of Johnstown.
There you go. Pretty cool. So I just thought about this, for people that listen to the podcast, when I do the slides, it's 3 seconds of silent. So I'm thinking maybe I need to add music to those, different music for each one of those slides, so that on the live on that, hear just a little bit of music go on with the 3 seconds of slide. Anyway, all right. So on the podcast, if you're listening to podcasts, if you hear 3 seconds of nothing, then it's because
we have a slide. We have a transition slide.
All right. Anyway. Okay. Good. Always good to have good dealers, though. It makes the industry a little bit better because there are bad dealers out there, and sometimes it's difficult to find good ones. So if you're ever looking for a good dealer, go to Maverick Truck Club.
And sometimes it's not the dealer, sometimes it's the sales associate.
Sometimes it's a good salesperson is what you need, right? So I feel like we have a lot of good ones around here. So. And for those who didn't know, we had some change in one. We had a really good salesperson went to finance, Derek Stitham. We had another salesperson that went to finance, Mike Jarawala, but then after a month decided he wanted to go back to sales.
Well, we had someone else do that too. We had Ryan in sales go over to finance, came back. Darren took his position. Then we had another position open up. So Jarawala tried his hand at it. And went back to sales.
Yep. So one of our aftermarket guys, Sean, if you've worked with Sean, he's one of our finance guys now.
Yep.
So in fact, I think next week they're going to finance training. So
Woo-hoo.
Anyway, all right. So I don't know where I came about that, but anyway, good dealers, good salespeople. That's what we're looking at. All right, let's talk about scheduling for just a little bit here, and this is where you can load up those questions. So I won't recap too much because earlier tonight we did a video on scheduling information. And so we covered that in that video. And this is, for the most part, the first week of scheduling of the allocations the dealers earn to use in May for those July production dates now. And so there are some of those. Now, some are still scheduling some June dates, it looks like, for some reason. But for the most part, they are. And this is usually, I like the first week because it's retail only. So that allows for those dealers and customers that have that retail order in to be just retail order scheduling, because they get the first ones, they get those builds that are in there, any of those low production type of things like tonneau covers and all that, they get taken care of with those retail orders. And then after that, then, if anybody put, basically how it works is if anybody puts an order in after Thursday for the next week, then a retail could be scheduled the second week. But then otherwise, they're going to be looking at stock scheduling at that point. Like for us, some of our vehicles, we don't like, here's the product lines that we have 0 unscheduled retail orders in currently. We don't have an Escape order. We don't have a Bronco Sport order. Mustang, we have 1 Dark Horse, and we did get 1 Dark Horse allocation to help them. We have 0 Bronco orders other than some ones that we had put in, some stock ones, including the one that I put in. So if you want my order, we're going to put a Bronco. We'll talk about that later. 0 mach-e orders, 0 Explorers, and 0 Lightning, F-150 Lightning orders. So we don't have any of those. So, and we're within our capacity in about every single, when I say capacity, it means we have less unscheduled orders than we have allocations for on every model, with the exception of the Expedition, where we have 3 allocations and we have 5 orders. So Maverick, we only have 4 unscheduled orders and 14 allocations. So well there. I guess my point is that you could order with us and probably get scheduled. Super D will be the one that I'd be a little nervous on at this point. Might be kind of late in the game, but they're opening the order banks for the 26 model year on May 22nd. So you can order a 26. So a lot of people are going to ask, well, should I place that 26 model year order? It doesn't hurt, but you're going to have time to place that order. You know, but I would, you know, you could still wait and see what gets scheduled, but go ahead and place the order. Place an order doesn't hurt anything. So you can go ahead and do that. But otherwise, you know, about everything's scheduled. We have a lot of allocations. So there you go. So, yeah, we have 10 Bronco allocations, I think. Yeah, 10. No, 0 Raptors. And then we have 11 Bronco Sport. And some of the, also, if you're wanting to order with us, you can lock in that employee pricing if you want. Now, there's some models on the Bronco that don't get employee pricing, like the Raptor and the Strop Bronco. They don't qualify for employee pricing, but we're doing invoice pricing on those. So if you want to place an order, now we don't have any Raptor allocations, but a Strop, they get scheduled with regular allocations. So if you put one of those in, we could probably get you scheduled on one of those. What else? Yeah, Maverick would be in the employee pricing. Anyway, Ranger Raptor, I don't know what to say. We're not getting what we were told we were going to get on that. So it's really difficult for us as a dealer to, when we were told that we were going to get allocations to fulfill Ranger Raptor orders, go ahead and take them. And then we do, and then they don't honor that. And they backtrack on us. That makes us look bad as a dealer because it makes it look like we shouldn't have taken those orders. So, yeah. Anyway, so I feel bad. So I would say, I mean, anybody that has a Ranger Raptor order, I mean, I don't want them to order from somebody else, but I would say you might as well. I mean, because it's more about getting you scheduled. Especially if you can find somebody that's willing to do MSRP or below MSRP, you know, place that order. That's the thing is you can't blame anybody for doing that. If they're waiting at a dealer. Well, we had somebody that ordered a dark horse from us because they've been waiting for 9 months to get a dark horse scheduled at their local dealer, and they can't get them scheduled. Can't really blame them, right? So anyway, all right. Any questions? Since I kind of was just kind of doing that just to kind of wait for questions to come in.
I have a few.
Okay.
What do you think the chances of my F450 Platinum on order with you guys before the 26s open up?
Well, Super D is one where we have 20 allocations this month and 17 unscheduled orders, including yours, I assume. So I'm really hoping that we can. They are only scheduling to produce at Kentucky through, I think, the middle of July, I think. So, but they are still like this week. We're using this week's allocations for this month, but it's still they're going to schedule for June dates. So we talk about they're only producing into 2 months, but they haven't even finished up scheduling for June. So they're going to be scheduling Kentucky from the weeks of 6/2 through 6/16. So they're not really even that far in advance. So,
right.
You know, hope for the best. I really don't know. The hard part is that it's a Platinum and it's a 450. Those are two things that are low production numbers. And, you know, it seems
difficult to be very popular and what people want.
Right. Yeah. So I can't guarantee. And what we'd have to do is then at that point, put in a 26 model year order. I mean, we had people that got a 25 this year that they had 24 model year order and we couldn't fulfill them in 24 at the end of 24 when they put those in. So they got scheduled at early 25 instead. So that's what would be it, probably in early 26.
Yeah. So Ed, going into that, was asking about flipping a Super Duty order over to 26 from 25. And can you have both orders? Also, can you shed any info on changes?
Okay, first of all, we don't know anything, but we do know that the order bank is going to open up in about a week. The 22nd is when they're saying the 26 model year order bank opens up. That usually means at least by that day we'll have an order guide. So I'll be doing videos on what's changed. Now, there is no, in a sense, changeover from 25 to 26. So what happens is your 25 order is going to stay as a 25 order. It does not get switched over to 26. What you would do is place another order for a 26. So then you'd have a 25 model year order and a 26. So what'll happen is that 25 model year order will stay in there. If they balance out, then that order just stays in there. I can actually see, I think it's on Bronco. We still have some 24 model year orders in Bronco because it balanced out. And we have, they're stock orders. They weren't retails, but they stayed in there. And so that is usually how that will work. So yeah. So anyway, but you would want to place a 26 model year order. So you'd have both. So what might happen is if they're still scheduling 25 when the order bank's open for 26, you can place that 26 model year order. And then if your 25 gets scheduled, then your dealer can schedule to delete that 26 order, right? You can remove it. And then if it goes along and your 25 doesn't get scheduled and they balance out, then you have that 26 model year order in there and you're ready to go for 26. So there won't be a transition model year order, any kind of private offers like there have been in the past. They always like to say that it's a dealer's fault, but we know what it is. We're within our allocations. We have 20 allocations, 17 orders. At this point in time, as a dealer, we've done our correct job. We've stayed within our allocations.
Yep.
We're under our allocations. It's Ford's job to schedule the orders, right?
Yeah.
I think we're, let me look that
So
up.
here's another one on that track. I ordered a 25 F450 XL crew cab February 10th. Should I place another order on May 22nd for a 2026? If my 25 doesn't schedule, will my $1,000 deposit be refunded if the 25 order is dropped?
That's up to your dealer. If it's
Yes.
with us, then we would just
Move it over to your 26.
Yes, we wouldn't ask you to put another deposit down if
Yeah.
you're with us. We do deposits on some of ours, but we wouldn't require a second one.
Yeah.
And what I'd be shocked at is you get a 450 XL that hasn't been scheduled. You might have something on that that's a constraint other than that. Because what I found is like when we look at our, like, I actually
Drop your order in.
like I'm putting in here, I'm pulling up all of our unscheduled 450 orders, or all of our unscheduled Super Duty orders, I should say. And when I look at our 450 orders, we have some regular cabs, but we have 6 unscheduled retail orders. 2 of those are regular cab, like cabin chassis. I don't know if those really count. In fact, okay, we actually have 3 of our 450s previewing this week.
Yeah.
So Tuesday they start previewing orders. That's a good thing. And I can say 3 of them are 450 platinums. In fact, okay, I'm looking for if it's what was that name on that one? Yep, right there, Paul. Is it Paul? His is previewing right now. So
Okay.
that's a good sign. Not to say it will happen, but you are previewing for scheduling. And that means that Ford's looking at your order. And when it previews, it means that it's available to schedule. That means that your order is a capacity. There's no constraints. Like the other 3 orders that are in here say NSP. That means for some reason or another, either because they only want to schedule, like they may decide, well, McArthur, you have 20 allocations, but only 3 of those are going to be 450s. And so that might be why the others are NSP, was that we, whatever they decide on capacity, we might be it. But those 3 other orders are being previewed, which means that they can order that, or they can schedule it based on the configuration of that order. So yeah, that's looking good. But yeah, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. But one of the things that looking at that, most of all these in here, that we do actually have one of these. I believe that's a Lariat order, actually. I was going to say, I think most of these are Platinum or King Ranches. And that's an XLT, actually. I have one XLT order in there, and then a King Ranch and a Platinum, I believe. I'm really surprised the XLT is not previewing. Let me look and see. You know why it's not? Remember I had said XLT orders without the bucket seats. I think this has bucket seats. And I think, yep, it's got bucket seats. So remember, looking at those notes on here, one of the notes from the video earlier today said that they need XLT orders Actually, that's not mentioned 450s though, so that would disregard that anyway. But on XLTs, they're looking for XLT orders with the bench seat. So if they had switched the bench seat, they probably would get scheduled. But that, and other than that, I don't see upfitter switches, alternator, remote start, nothing major. Keypad, yeah, we'll talk about keypads. Anyway, other than that, they really don't have anything on their order. I'm really surprised it's not previewing. But the other ones that are previewing, we know 2 are platinum, because I know what that one is. I always get confused on these PEP codes on these, but I think 770 is a King Ranch. Yep. So we have 1 King Ranch and 2 platinums that are previewing this week. So XLT that's not, and the other 2 XLTs that are not. So none of the XLTs are previewing, but the King Ranches and platinums are.
Right.
So that's good news. So maybe that's a way at every dealer, and I would hope so. And that first week, typically, this is the week. If you get scheduled, if you have a platinum or King Ranch, this would be the week to probably get scheduled, to be honest. They're probably, it may be not necessarily, I guess, because the way Super Duty does it, they do schedule multiple weeks. So not necessarily the last weeks. I guess I should take that back and saying that. But some of the other models, I would say that, because they schedule a lot of their stuff early.
Right.
And then it's just filling in slots. But on the Super Duty, they schedule almost, because like I said, this week they're scheduling for the dates 6/2 through 6/16. So they're scheduling for those 3 weeks. So they haven't scheduled for the other last week and into July, into the other date. So they'll do the next 3 weeks after that, and they'll be able to do more platinum in King Ranches, because those are different weeks.
That's good.
Anyway, so I'm a little worried, sorry, but hopefully that works out for everybody.
All right. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Yep. I think that's the biggest thing right now is most everybody that we're having people that are trying to get their order scheduled. It seems like about all the models are doing pretty well and getting scheduled in a timely manner. Now, if you're not in some of the other models other than Super Duty, it's probably because of dealer allocations and orders. But for the most part, most models are really low in the numbers that they have unscheduled. Now, Bronco, there are still 300 and some manuals out there not scheduled. So that might be one that's hurting the Bronco family vehicles there. Otherwise, on Bronco Sport, like this month again, they're doing standard Big Ben. Maverick, if you have a trimmer, sorry, that's one that for some reason there are some people out in the forums that are thinking that because they didn't schedule trimmer for June production, they're not scheduled for July, that they think they're done for the year. And I'm going to tell you, they're probably going to schedule into September build dates at least. So there's still August and September that can get scheduled. So they're probably still going to schedule them, but it probably didn't have that many orders, or for some reason, I don't know. I don't know if they want to help the Badlands with theirs because it's the same one, or Lobo, because Lobo is going to get scheduled. But anyway, for that, I can tell you this: if you're on a Maverick and you're on a front wheel drive hybrid, I wouldn't see, unless your dealer doesn't have an allocation, there's no reason why you wouldn't get scheduled. I mean, that they need those orders. See what else? I don't know. That's about it. Yep. Yep. All right. No other questions?
I don't think so. Just worried about my F450 Platinum order from a Super Duty only dealership.
Super Duty only dealership.
So this is Ed. He has an F450 Platinum order.
Mm-hmm.
And he ordered from someone else, and so he's just worried about it.
I don't know of very many dealers that only sell Super Duties. Now there's that one in Kansas City, but their focus is more on like the 650s and 750s. So that could be, but again, hopefully we have some good news this week.
So we have 0 Ranger Raptor allocations.
Correct. I know. And we've talked to everybody. They're just giving us the same runaround. Nothing we
That's
can do.
not right.
We have to get what we promised or what they've earned. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. We're selling within a week of every single one of our Ranger Raptors that come in are selling within a week.
Even if they don't take them,
Right.
they get
They're
sold within a
selling.
week.
They're selling right away. Well, we had one that the customer didn't take, so we reached out to the other people that had the same configuration, and that person said, "Yeah, I'll do it," because it's the same. It was the exact same configuration as they had ordered. So I mean, it's hard to believe that we get 0 allocations 2 months in a row. It doesn't make sense to me. It's
No.
When they say it's based what you earn on the allocations is based on what you sell, and we're selling what we're selling them. We're selling one a month. I don't understand why we're not getting an allocation every single month, at least one. It just doesn't make sense at all. So there's some fishy going on there that I can't. They won't tell us, but anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Don't want to say any more about that because don't want to get the live stream shut down. Anyway.
So Dan has a question about Maverick. When I ordered my Maverick Lariat all-wheel drive hybrid, he said his sales manager said they were not building that configuration for a while. Are you aware of that May 5th order?
No, they're lying. They don't know what to talk about. Sorry. I don't know how else to sugarcoat that.
Maybe it's not lying. Maybe they don't know how to read what they've been given.
No, they're just because
they're just saying something.
Just because the sheet says that they're needing hybrid front wheel drive orders doesn't mean that the other orders won't get scheduled.
If it's the only order in their system,
and
you're going to get scheduled.
Now, yeah. They said we're not building that configuration for a while. Here's what my take is. Do they have stock inventory? So they're probably trying to tell you that, oh, no, they're not building that configuration because they want you to buy one of the things in their inventory. And because they probably have vehicles, that have been there for a little while, and they're probably trying to sell them. So that sometimes you'll see, in sales, we used to say, we used to call it SWAT, sell what's available today. And so their goal was to try to sell what you can close that person on. So if somebody orders a vehicle, they can always change their mind because it could be 2-3 months before that comes in. So the goal in sales sometimes is to sell them today. Don't let them leave. Try to sell them today. You guys have probably been pressured a lot. You guys know what that means. We believe, what are you doing to sell car now or in the future? Because the customers are going to need to buy a vehicle in the future as well. And so we want them to have what they want. And this is a situation where maybe they're at a dealership where they was trying to sell out of their inventory and not have to try to order one.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a Lariat all-wheel drive hybrid. I will tell you this. There's a reason why we don't have any Lariats on our lot right now. Right? For one, most of the people ordered them, took them, but also they don't actually sell. We don't order them for stock because they usually sit on our lot.
You typically Lariats, fully spec'd out, but people want, if they're spending that much money on a vehicle, they typically want a custom built vehicle for them.
Or they want to, like, if we now are starting to get some Lariat F-150s, but for a long time we didn't because we struggled to sell them. That more budget car is what sells. We don't carry Lariat Rangers. We have a Lariat Ranger right now, and again, it hasn't sold. It won't. The customer that ordered it didn't take it. It's right at a $50,000 MSRP. It's not a 2.7.
If I'm spending that much money on a vehicle, I kind of want to have the fun of build it out, customize it, place the order. I get to go through the anticipation of the wait and then the excitement of it getting here.
Yeah, I would say in that situation, either they were trying to sell something out of their inventory and trying to get you to consider that. But that is not truthful. They are scheduling in their Lariat orders. So, that's not true. So, all right. No constraints on Lariat right now. So if you have a hybrid,
in fact,
front wheel drive, which you can't get in a Lariat.
Ford is always asking for Lariat.
Well, Not right now.
Good
Right now,
thing.
they want the front wheel drive hybrid orders because they don't have enough people ordering that configuration. Because everybody wants all wheel drive hybrid, right?
Yeah.
That's why they need them. Same way on the Super Duty. Ford's saying we need XL and XLT orders with the 7.3 and the regular cab and super cab. Why? Because nobody's ordering regular cab and super cabs. That's why they need the orders. Is because to be at 100% capacity, they could make more regular cab and super cabs, but because they don't have the orders and nobody's ordering them, they're not at 100% capacity, and they want to be.
Right.
Otherwise, they're going to have time where people have to go home. Workers can't work because they don't have enough. They're not, 100% capacity. Let's say they can build 25,000 Super Duties a month. But to do that, they have to build 5,000 regular cab and super cabs. Well, if they don't have the orders for those 5,000, then they're only going to build 20,000 that month. So that's why they're almost requiring. There for a while, they require dealers to put in regular cab, super cab orders.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we have high boys. Well, a couple of reasons. One, we think they're cool, but for two, Ford made us put in some regular cab orders. So we made them into high boys.
Yep.
So anyway, all right. I'm kind of dogging on Ford a little bit, so let's move on.
You back off.
Better back off a little bit. Anyway. Moving to dealer news. Speaking of things that Ford's gone wrong. All right, this first one is on the Expedition. There is Expeditions equipped with the power third row seat, which I think is about every Expedition. 25 model year. There is kind of a Navigator as well. There is kind of a situation going on with those. So the new configuration of that in 20, like the generation before the 25, you could slide that second row seat all the way back, and then the third row seat folded down, and it would still miss that second row seat and fold down flat. For 25 model year, I don't know if they just didn't think about it, but that third row seat or the second row, I think, can slide back further now than it did last year. And because of that, if you have it in a completely back spot, that third row seat actually gets caught. The headrest gets caught on, even if you fold the headrest down, it stops on that back seat. And then in some situations, because they don't want the motor to burn out, it's a what do they call that? It's a safety thing for the motor, so the motor doesn't burn out. It'll just shut it off, and you have to reactivate it and to reset it, is what they call it. So there's instructions they sent out to dealers on how to reset it. I did a video, did a short. You can check that out if you want to on our YouTube channel under the shorts, exactly how to reset that. I actually got it to do it for me in the video. And actually that was shot when I did my member walk around. So I did my lot walk, and so the members, you got that first. So anyway, so there's that. That came out. Also, this week, we did see the XLT standard wheel and the Super Duty got balanced out. Well, same thing is happening on the F-150. So the STX standard 200A wheel offering will change to a new 20-inch carbonized gray wheel. You will probably see it looks a lot like the Lightning wheel. So it's this in here. So it looks just like the Lightning XLT wheel. So it's kind of funny. So they're using, probably because they got a lot of Lightnings not being built. So you're going to that wheel. This is a no-cost option. So you're going from that 20-inch machine wheel, which I like the look of it, to the carbonized gray wheel that you did see in the Lightning. So no cost difference there. And I don't think there's anything you have to do. Unscheduled orders will also be mass spec'd, changed, and may be adjusted to another STX PEP or a new trim level. So if you don't like that wheel and you're like, you know what, I want to change then to a 200B or something, or 201A, you can do that. You can change the PEP code or the series to the other one if you want. So if you don't like that wheel. So there you go. Now the XLT and Lariat, the 300A, 301A, 302A, and 500A come with a standard 18-inch wheel. It's that one here. It's a chrome wheel. So it's an 18-inch chrome wheel. So it's that one on this side. 18-inch chrome wheel. So that wheel also is a current wheel and is going to be replaced as well. It says Q3 production. So it says that wheel is unavailable. Another announcement will be shared with timing and details on the new wheel replacement when closer to implementation. So not yet, but just letting dealers know. Dealers should consider amending existing orders to one of the alternatives listed below. Scheduling has been paused for non-buildable configurations with the 18-inch wheel. So if you have that wheel, it won't get scheduled. So here's a situation with that. So you could switch an alternative right now because that wheel's not available yet. So if you want to get scheduled, you're going to have to switch to like a black appearance package on the XLT 301 or 302A. On the Lariat, you'd have to go to Lariat black appearance package or move to a different equipment group. Like if you go to 501 or 502A, it gets a 20-inch chrome wheel instead. But on the XLT 300A, there is no alternative, doesn't look like, that they've given as an option. So there's 500A and 300A, you might consider going to a 301A or the 501A, and then either adding the black appearance package or on the Lariat. You don't have to add the black appearance package necessarily, but there you go. So that is a change. We'll probably do a short on that in an article. We'll probably write an article about that because that's, I think, important information that people have an order need to know. All right. Next up is the complimentary home charger and standard installation. It is being extended from June 30th to July 7th now as the expiration date. They're going to keep moving this. They're going to keep offering it, I think. But just like we talked about a couple weeks ago, don't forget you won't guarantee that 80 amp charger. That's what they was before. Now they're shifting to where it's whatever's available. So if the 80 amps are out, then they're going to give you that 48 amp instead. So just so you're aware of that when you take purchase. And they're getting to the point right now where most of the vehicles that have the single onboard charger, so the 80 amps won't even be of relevance anyway, because you're going to be capped at like 48 or 50 amps anyway. So there you go. So there's just a change to that system. If you don't want the charger, you get $500 rebate instead if you'd like to go that route. All right. Something new to COVP. So if you didn't know this, when you place an order, your dealer should make you complete the certified order verification process or program. And that usually means that the dealer needs to get a copy of the order, as well as a copy of the buyer's order and a copy of your driver's license. They have to submit those copies to Ford, and they had to go through and for Ford, not that you guys need to know this, but dealers, you would need to go into the COVP website to submit those. Well, that's changing. Now it looks like that's going to be done through the WebDo system now. So that's a change for this year. It says, in an effort to simplify COVP process and reduce dealer administrative burden, Ford has integrated the COVP process into WebDo. WebDo is the ordering system, web-based dealer ordering system. Says it's a 3-step process, and they do have it down below. When entering a retail order into WebDo, please complete the pop-up prompt including the attestation. So there's a checkbox now you have to fill out. I actually noticed that when I placed an order on a Bronco on Saturday. Second step is the orders that have been submitted, have been successfully COVP verified will show the COVP verified yes. I believe that you still have to submit them the way you did. It's just now you can see that they've been approved and verified in WebDo without having to go over there. So that way you're able to see in your orders that it was a verified order. And then you can monitor it in the COVP dashboard. So I think you still have to submit it in dashboard. I just think it's the way you can see it. But anyway, that's mainly for dealers, but there's that. All right. And then lastly, Ford came out, which actually didn't come out wasn't the most recent information, but the Ford Custom Garage Coastal package is now available. And I don't think I actually got any images of that. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me pull that up so you guys can see that. Actually, I'll just go to the Ford Custom Garage website. There we go. And let me go ahead and show you guys what this looks like. For those that are following along on the podcast, we're going to show what that package looks like. There we go. So FordCustomGarage.com, you can go there and you can see these packages. And so there is a new package, the Bronco Coastal package. Kind of looks like this. And this package here can be put on, it's actually going to be put on a 24 or 25 Bronco. So if you currently have one, it's a non-Sasquatch. They say non-Sasquatch because it includes suspension upgrade. So you get basically the Sasquatch suspension on this. So that's why they say, now this can be put on a Badlands, which already has that suspension, and it's actually cheaper because you don't get the suspension upgrade, but you get the silver grille, the silver fender flares, the silver wheels. Tires are not included, just so you're aware. You get the graphics on the side, like you're seeing here. That's included as well. And then you also get, there's a close-up of those graphics. Looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like those wheels. I look pretty cool too. And silver fender flare, silver grill. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Big Ben grill. That's basically the Big Ben grill painted silver. That's basically what your freewheeling grill is.
Yeah.
So the same grill as the freewheeling package. And then you get also the Benamy top is included. Now, it is showing these tube doors. Those are optional. So those are not included at the $5,400 price. And they keep showing this tire cover, and that's not included either. That's optional. So it kind of shows you what's included there. See, the door kit is optional equipment. It says down here. Tires are sold separately. So there are 2 recommended tires that they tell you to get if you're getting one of these packages. We did order one of these packages for one of our stock vehicles, by the way. So we should have one. They are 3 to 4 weeks out from shipping.
Right.
So even though it just came out, that's fine. So the tire that they recommend on here is a BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO2 or a Goodyear Territory MT. So those are 2 different tires. I think we're going to go with that Territory, but anyway. So we actually have one of these packages, like I said, on order. Now, if you want to order from your dealer, you can order the package from your dealer because there is no other way to order this. You have to be a dealer that is within the Ford Performance Network. So it's a Ford Performance kit in a sense. And so you do have to purchase it through them. And we purchase it through Parts Midwest, but it's not on their website. So a lot of dealers, when we order parts through accessories, they can go to the website, Parts Midwest, and they can order it and it gets shipped. It's kind of like just ordering a vehicle. But on this package, from what I had told, they couldn't find it on the Parts Midwest website. Now, every dealer has a regional hub for that. So if you're a dealer out there, and you might have to educate your dealer on this, if you want this package or any of their packages, they have to call the distributor. So like our parts manager called Parts Midwest and said, hey, I wanted to order this. They all have part numbers for this. I want to order this. And they were able to order it for them and get it. So it's going to go from Ford to them, which is probably what that 3 to 4 weeks is. Then it'll come to us. So, and the dealer can install it. So the install is not included, as well as the tires aren't included. So you got to understand that the install, they're going to be installing the tires and wheels, right? The suspension, they're going to have to switch out, put that in there. The ProCal tool is for speedometer recalibration. I don't know if they get a tune. It doesn't say tune. The stripes are going to need to be added on. The silver fender flares, so the old ones are going to have to come off. The silver ones go on. The Benamy top will need to be put on. The grill will need to be switched out, and that kind of stuff. So that's all going to be done. So you're going to have an install going on by the dealer there. So, but one of the things that a lot of people didn't highlight that I noticed when looking at this dealer bulletin, I was reading through and I'm like, there's a couple links for different things like a hero card and some other stuff. And one of the links that I saw said, order this on your Bronco, on your 25 Bronco. I'm like, what? You can do that now? So now there's actually to where if you want to order a 25 model year Bronco, you can order any of these packages. So let me show you these packages. Let me bring that back up. So not only the coastal package, but you go back to the main site. Any of these ones that say they're available right now. So the coastal package, the Sinister Bronze package, see this say 2425, the Bronco Matte Black, the Bronco Dark Trail, Black and the Bronco Dark Trail Gray. Those are all available to order on a 25 model year Bronco order. So if you want to order a Bronco and put these packages on, you can order it when you order your Bronco. Now, a lot of dealers aren't going to know how to do this, but there is an option within Webdo for your order. I already submitted one of these. I wanted to test it out. I ordered a Big Ben with a black diamond package because I wanted it to have a rear locker, cloth top. It's an azure gray 2.3 automatic that I ordered. And then there's an option. It's a no charge option for the package because once it gets scheduled, then there's a dealer login here. The dealer has to log in and select with that order that's got a VIN number, what package they want. And so then what happens once that vehicle is built, it goes to a accessory manufacturer. This kit is shipped to there and they put the kit on and then ship it to the dealer. So that's how it works. So I think this is cool that they're doing that. But at this point, it's being put on as an accessory kind of.
Yeah.
Why don't you just make it a package like the black appearance package? I guess that's where I'm at. I'm like, I thought about that the other day. I'm like, why don't they just make these optional packages? I think when they do it as the order guide and part of production is that then they have to guarantee a certain number has to be built. They're going to build so many, period. Right. Whereas on these, they don't have to do that because they're accessories.
Yeah.
DIOs. They're DIOs, or they're not DIOs. They're a
custom garage.
They're a factory IO or something. Anyway, installed option. They're an FIO. That's what they call them, FIOs. Anyway, so now you can do that. So we're going to go through that process because like I said, I ordered one. So we have the coastal package coming in we have a base 4-door. And so we're putting it on that.
Do we have a blue freewheeling coming in?
No. We didn't order one of those. And by the way, Bronco Sport does not have it. You can't order a Bronco Sport and add that to it.
I know.
Yet. I looked in Webdo for that. So just
did
the
I.
Bronco allows you to do, but Bronco Sport doesn't. So
did I.
Anyway, anyway, it's interesting. What my question is like on these other ones, when it comes to the dealer, then we get the tires that they want and then put them on there. So my question is since it doesn't include tires,
how does it get here?
What happens on these packages when they put them on there? They're going to have to put in a tire, right? So
are they going to ship it on rims?
Are they going to dictate what tire it goes on it? So, and the reason these aren't available with the Sasquatch packages. So if you go in Webdo and try to order one and you have the Sasquatch package selected, it'll say you can't do it. And you can't order this with a black appearance package either. Makes sense because it's own custom package. So there's certain packages that's available on, like the one I did, it's available on a base, a Big Ben, an Outer Banks. It's available on I think most of them are available on a Badlands, non-Sasquatch Badlands. And so you can do it that way. But like on a Big Ben, you can't order it with a freewheeling, can't order it with a black appearance package, and you can't order it with a Sasquatch package. So you can order it with the black diamond, so you have a rear locker, which is what I did. So we'll see. We're going through this, and we usually don't have a lot of hard tops vehicles without hard tops coming in, but so we'll see. I might need some of you to come up and buy that sucker when it gets here. But we are gonna. My thought is putting the coastal package on it because it'll be in the azure gray. And I mean, I almost did the eruption green and put the sinister bronze package on it. I thought that would look good.
Yeah.
I could change the color. It is previewing this week, so I could change the color. But I don't know. Maybe I need to put it up to a vote. I'll put a vote for anybody on on our channel. I'll put a post and I'll make a poll. What package do you think we should put on this order? But anyway. I don't know. So there's that. So there's here's the guide. It's like,
it would be interesting, Bucko. He brought up an interesting point. Did anything that they take off of the factory Bronco, do they put in the Bronco?
I don't think so. I think they go back to Ford, I'd assume. Which is probably why more than likely they don't charge you for an install on these. So if you probably have it done like that on your build, because it doesn't show that yet until it gets scheduled, I won't know what it's going to cost.
But can Ford reuse that part? Is the question.
I mean, the main thing they're going to take off is the wheels, tires, and the shocks. Grills, right? I guess in some situations, right?
Yeah.
Fender flares will take off. Yeah. I don't know.
I gotta want to know what happens. Do we have a contact with Ford?
I need to go see this plant. All right.
Do we have a contact with them?
I don't know.
I want. My brain needs an itch now. It needs to know.
We're gonna have one of the first one of these. Now we did see the coastal package isn't new. We saw it at SEMA several years ago. It's just taken a while to get here. So they didn't have that package last SEMA, but the SEMA before that, right?
Yes.
Not 24, but 23. So this was actually the coastal package showed us in 2023 because they had a surfboard on top. And somebody had mentioned that. I think is it this in here? Does it show a surfboard? Oh, they don't.
No.
Okay, so the original one, you remember it showed a surfboard at SEMA. Somebody said they had the surfboard on incorrect on the top of the vehicle. Because you put the fins at the front, they say. And you do it upside down. So the fin should be upside down facing up, and the fin should be at the front. Because that way, if the wind catches it, the fins will catch on your straps.
Let's see, what year was that?
Continue to go back.
2023.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. But all right. Any questions? That's my last deal.
Here we go.
If there's any questions about that?
Oh, here. I found my pictures. I think I actually have a video.
Have a surfboard?
Yeah. It's a video.
Can't see the top. I want to see the
Here,
surfboard.
1 second. I might have forgotten the top. My asthma was bad. I don't know what I was doing. There we go. They had an upside down fin in the front.
Okay.
They had it on a 2-door.
Yeah.
Peak blue or a blue one.
Yes. So that is one of the, if you look into marketing, they show a 2-door because it's available on 2-door or 4-door. The 2-door they show it on is that same one. It's that color. It's it looks like it's azure gray.
Yeah.
And so that's the 2-door. And then the 4-doors are putting it on the desert sand because at SEMA at that time they didn't have desert sand.
No, but
anyway.
Yeah. But that they have the surfboard on there, correct?
Now, of course, you can't. You could go 2-door base and put that on it.
Yes.
Actually, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. This was my.
Did you know that?
That is what we are.
Here's the Bronco, or here's the Bronco we're putting it on. Or we hope, unless it sells before then. That's going to be our luck. It's going to sell before it gets here.
I have a short on that.
And I hope it does because I'm not sure we can wait that long.
Shorts are now 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Back then, my shorts had to be under a minute. Yeah. So I can use that short and then stitch it in to the new one and go, all right, guys, we saw it 2 years ago at SEMA. It is now here. I'm doing it. We're doing it.
All right. So this is the Bronco we're putting it on. So it's actually a desert sand 2-door that we're going to put that package on right there. So definitely the vehicle needs something, right? But we have that one priced $39,800. So you see, you can get an under $40,000 Bronco. Price is $41,700 because it's an automatic transmission. But there you go. So I could say you could buy it, but I don't want you to because I want that package to come in so we can put it on there. But there you go. There's that. Yep. And it'll probably get some window tint while we're at it. Just needs it. Anyway, so there's that. All right. We need to carry on. Okay. Any questions?
Carry on my wayward son. Besides if ceramic coating is worth it, no.
Ceramic coating?
Ceramic coating is worth it.
Yeah. I kind of wish I had done it to the Bronco. So it'll help protect it.
Mm-hmm. I have it on all of my vehicles, and it's nice.
Oh, I was saying that. Oh, okay. Anyway, all right. Okay, let's go on to recalls are next, I think.
Yes.
There are quite a few of these. I actually might get my glasses out for this. My eyes are getting really tired right now. All right. So let's talk about this. First one is Safety Recall 25S36. And this is for E-Transit chassis cabs. This only affects 452 vehicles. And this is actually an update this is, I think, the official recall actually now. There was an advance notice that came out, April 14th. So this is the official bulletin. So in this and here, the prior to the final upfit installation, when parked outside, the vehicles may be exposed to the elements, and the water may accumulate in the high voltage battery side rail channels. Water that accumulates in the side channels may be exposed to repeated cycles of freezing and thawing within the exposed aluminum side rail extrusions of the high voltage battery assembly. Some of you guys might remember that. So this in here is the official one now. It does say in here that owners of record will be mailed out week of May 19th. So they should be able to hit, now the parts are available. So there you go. So now they have the official recall. So a lot of times we'll have an advance notice. That means they know there's a problem, but they may not have parts and repair orders and yet. Now on this one here, they now have that stuff. So, all right. This next one is another safety recall, 24S11. And this is supplement number 2. A supplement means they've updated it. And this one here is for 2023 model year F-150 Lightnings, high voltage battery junction box, bus bar, retention nut inspection. That's a lot of stuff. This in here, they did affects 219 vehicles built between October 31st of 22 through August 2nd of 23. And some of the affected vehicles, there may be missing or loose retention nuts on the high voltage battery junction box, bus bars, and the high voltage battery pack. And this in here looks like they updated the affected vehicles. So now there's more, I think there's more vehicles that were affected by this. So they updated that number. The owner letters will be mailed to the added population. And they also added the labor allowance, the technical instructions, and the information about pickup and delivery and stuff like that. So anyway, so there you go. The record of the extra owners of record or that were added will be mailed the week of May 19th. Everybody else should have gotten theirs already. So, all right, this next one is another supplement update to safety recall 24S15. This is supplement number 2. This is for 23 to 24 model year Bronco 5 doors, the rear child door safety lock or whatever. 11,807 vehicles are affected by this one. And some of the vehicles, the left-hand rear door may be open from the inside of the vehicle, despite the indication of the child safety lock to be in the on position, increasing the risk of a crash to an unrestrained second row occupant. In an abundance of caution, the right-hand rear door will also be inspected. So this in here, owners of record will be mailed the week of May 19th to these people. And in this one here, the reason it was updated was the affected build range has been expanded to January 25th of 2024. So it didn't go that far. So now they've found some others. So anyway, those people will get mailed that. Now, I think did we have that? I don't know. I did get my recall, finally my seatbelt. And I think it's stupid as recall. Sorry. Don't mean to say that, but I got a little clip that goes on my seatbelt. And what's funny is that they put that clip on there and they move it up. So then my seatbelt's up here instead of down here. You know where the Expedition seatbelt is? Down here. So why did they feel like it was necessary for the Broncos to get the recall when that seatbelt is in the exact same place as my 2022 Expedition that doesn't have a recall for that? Guess what? You know where that little retention thing is right now on my Bronco? It's at the bottom. I slid it all the way to the bottom. I can grab it and I don't. Anyway, I like the similarities between my Bronco and the Expedition when getting in there. So that's where mine sits.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's not a safety recall. Why focus our attention on there's other ones that we need to focus our attention on other than, in my opinion, silly recalls like that. But I think that wasn't a safety recall. It was not a compliance, but a customer satisfaction program. So, but when you take your vehicle in now, your Bronco, they're going to make sure that gets done. That's not a satisfaction to me. I don't care. But anyway, that's fine. All right. Next up is an update, supplement number 1 to Safety Recall 24S06 for 2018 to 2020 model year Expedition and Navigators. 77,587 vehicles are affected by this recall, and they did update this one here, and as the driver and or front passenger seatbelt retractor pretensioners may deploy inadvertently while the vehicle's engine is on. Inadvertent deployment of the retractor pretensioner will result in the seatbelt being locked in position and not retract or extend. So when you have an accident, it's supposed to like pre-tension so that then you don't have that happen. So this is saying this is inadvertently doing that. So it's not then pulling in, right? Anyway, so that one there, owners of record will be mailed the week of July 8th, 2024. That's when they went out. What they updated for this one here, this is supplement number 1 to the original safety recall that came out back in June 20th of last year, is a new date code range of suspect pretensioners have been developed for vehicles that have yet to be serviced under 24S06. Dealers are to use the new list when inspecting and servicing these vehicles provided in the new technical instructions. So some of the vehicles that have been serviced under 24S06 may get an updated recall letter under 25S31 for a reinspection. So just so if you get that, that's what that's about. All right. This next one is safety recall 25S43. This is a new recall. And this might be it doesn't say it's an advance notice. This is for 25 model year Explorer and Aviators. 206 vehicles are affected by this, built between April 1st, 25 and April 2nd of 2025, those 2 days. Some of the affected vehicles, the right-hand side front subframe bolt may not be torqued correctly. A subframe bolt that is torqued below specification may loosen over time. As a result, customers may notice a clunking or rattle noise coming from the front suspension, and it may affect crash performance, increasing the risk of injury. So letters of owner letters are expected to be mailed the week of May 19th of 2025. So that is the official bulletin. That is the official recall. So they are ready to perform it. This is the one I think that they were talking about earlier. So this affects several different models. This is safety recall 25S49. This is an advance notice. Again, means that the recall is not ready to be performed yet. But this is for a lot of different model years. So this is 21 to 23 model year Mach-E, 21 to 24 model year F-150, 22 to 23 F-150 BEV units, I assume, because it says the Rouge electrical plant, 24 model year Mustang, 22 to 25 model year Transit, 22 to 24 Expedition and Navigators, 22 model year Super Duties, and it says 23 to 24 model year F-250s built at Kentucky or Ohio, 23 to 24 model year Escape, 23 to 24 model year Corsair, 21 to 24 model year Broncos, Rangers 24 model year, MKX 21 to 23, Edge 21 to 24. Yeah. 1,064,521 vehicles. So it's a lot of different model years there. I'm looking at my Bronco saying, okay, Expedition 22, that would be our current 22. Anyway, this here is in some of the affected vehicles, the infotainment screen may freeze followed by a black screen and a system reboot. If this occurs during a backing event, the rearview image may be frozen, missing, or delayed. A frozen rearview camera display image while in reverse can create a false representation of where the vehicle is in relative to its surroundings, increasing the risk of a crash. Owners of record will be notified within 60 days, it says, which may occur before the software availability, including repair instructions, have been provided to dealers. So this is an advance notice. Yeah, I haven't looked to see if our vehicles are on there or not, but I don't just count on the backup camera, but that's right. All right, next up is a compliance recall. Glad to see that instead of a safety. 25C10 for 24 model year Lincoln Nautilus and Ford Ranger. You usually don't see those together much. 1,141 vehicles are affected by this one. And I think this is the official one because September 9th, 24 is when the advance notice came out. It says, according to Ford's records, certain 24 model year Nautilus and Ranger vehicles may not have the remedy of compliance recall 24C24 installed correctly, but were recorded as having received the repair successfully. Because the correct software update may not have been installed on these vehicles, the underlying condition specified by in compliance recall 24C24 may still exist. So basically, they need to be done. So says the letters are going to go out this week. Or next week, sorry. All right. Listen, here is for an advance notice for safety recall 25S45. This is for 24 to 25 model year Bronco and Ranger vehicles. 4,481 vehicles are affected by this one. And it says in some of the affected vehicles, the nut on the ball joint, which secures the front control arm to the knuckle assembly, may not have been installed or torqued to specification. This can result in a separation of the upper control arm from the knuckle assembly. A separation of the front upper control arm from the knuckle assembly may result in a loss of directional control without warning, increasing the risk of a crash. I thought we talked about this last week. They say owners of record will be notified after repair instructions and parts ordering information is available to dealers. I thought we talked about that. Didn't we talk about that last week? Anyway, it's dated the 13th, which is today. But all right. This last one is equipment recall 24S45 for 2018 to 23 model year Mustang, 2018 to 2020 F-150, and 2018 to 2021 Expedition and Navigators. So this is there's a reference to supplement. There was an advance notice supplement 1. Looks like this is an official one. 580 vehicles are affected by this one. Some of the affected vehicles were repaired with a service replacement electronic power steering assist steering gear and may have the secondary digital torque sensor in the steering gear calibrated with an inadvertent polarity. If the primary steering torque sensor experiences a failure or fault, that inadvertent polarity on the secondary sensor may cause the steering wheel to begin oscillating without warning. Well, that's scary. When attempting to steer, due to the EPAS providing unintended steering assist. Your dealership may have either installed an affected EPAS steering gear on a vehicle or sold over the counter a suspect replacement EPAS. Owners of record are going to go out next week of that one. So there you go. All right. What's that? Not too many, right?
No, not too many.
That's being rhetorical. It's quite a few. All right. Anything else? Any questions?
No.
All right. Now I want to do this. I want to talk about this. So, it's part of the Is It True? Let's talk about this article that came out because this is true. So I'm not sure why we need to ask whether it's true. I just thought it'd be a good place to put this. And that is that Ford, according to Automotive News, which is a very reputable source, Michael Martinez is a really good journalist. Ford cutting hundreds of connected vehicle software jobs. Maybe they should get those recalls done before they cut these jobs. Anyway, so in this article, they're cutting 350 connected vehicle software jobs in the U.S. and Canada as part of the ongoing effort to improve efficiency, according to a person with knowledge on the moves. Affected workers were notified May 13th. That's today. The employees work on projects that include the newly launched Ford and Lincoln Digital Experience. It says the cuts amount to roughly 5% of the automaker's connected vehicle software team, which is under the purview of Doug Field, Ford's chief EV digital and design officer. So they say these are unrelated to the tariffs. But that's a lot of jobs being cut. So anyway, so looks like there's some people out there looking for a job. Looks like I'm sure they get some sort of severance pay and everything. But yeah, there you go. So I think he quoted in here. It says, we consistently review our organization to make sure we are operating efficiently and effectively in a fast-paced and dynamic environment. It says we are making changes within our connected vehicle software team to ensure we have the right talent and organization to deliver the world's best next generation connected vehicles. This will include some separations. So what it sounds like to me, they're saying they're not good enough. I don't know.
Right.
The way they word that. Anyway, it is very significant save for capital efficiency, Farley said. May 5th on Ford's first quarter earnings call. We simply merged our two architectures into one. This is very important for the company because our software is going faster than we expected, and advanced electric architectures allow us to deliver software to the vehicles and customers in the same more efficient way. There you go. They're also cutting jobs, it says, in Europe, Germany, Great Britain. I think there's one of the plants there, so they're going to go on strike in Germany. Anyway, so there we go. There's that. Fresh news from today, thanks to Automotive News. All right, so there you go. There's that. All right. You all right over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm chatting. Talking about tornadoes. Ridgeview said that they had tornado warnings as they were going through New York. Said, well, that's funny. When we were in New York, they had a tornado watch. You remember that?
Nope.
I do.
All right. So we're going to talk about Norra here, and we're going to pull up Bronco Nation does some great articles, including with Melissa Clark. She's really in with that community because she does a lot of off-road racing, so she knows that community very well. I'm really surprised she hasn't competed in this event, but we're going to talk about this event. So it's, you can tell in the topic and the title of the episode. And so we're going to actually reference these articles because Bronco Nation has them. If you're not, Bronco Nation does require membership, I think, to use their forum. But they have some great articles that I think you can read even if you're not a member. I don't know. You're going to look at one right now, but Melissa would not mind. I actually thought about seeing if they wanted to join us for this, and I didn't think about it until it was too late. So Norra is the, okay, let me make sure, what's it called? Did I actually, anyway, it says it's Off-Road Racing Association. So,
yeah.
So national, or I don't know, something. Anyway, so this is an off-road racing association now. So what you're going to see is not just new vehicles, but it's actually like modified vehicles, old vehicles, and whether or not they can hit this rugged race. So they have one that's, I think it's called the Norra Mexican 1000, but I believe it's 1,400 miles now. So they've gone further than 1,000, but it's a long ways. And so they kind of talk about different classes. In fact, I think right here they kind of show you what your vehicle is in, what kind of, like, remember you were talking about, you couldn't understand the classifications.
Right, yeah.
So here's the breakdown. Pioneer is built in 67 to 75, it says.
Oh, no, that's not what I had a problem reading. It was their stats each day and the final results.
Oh,
that's what I couldn't read. Anyways, continue on with this. Pioneer, Legend, Challenger, Vintage, Historic, Evolution.
Yes. So Evolution is your more modern ones,
like Shelby's.
Current stock ones and that kind of stuff would be in this line. Now, you did interview Shelby Hall recently. Shelby Hall did going to show you that one. She is launching a new off-road race team called Shelby Hall Off-Road.
Yes.
Now, that's technically not a stock Bronco. That wasn't considered in the stock class, I believe. I think she's in, because actually I pulled up the results here. She did finish, did pretty well, right behind, pretty close behind the stock Broncos and everything. But she was in a Bronco DR. Think first time running this race, right? Do you know for sure? I think it might have been. But she finished 77th overall for the cars. There's cars and motorcycles. So she finished 77th, and she's under the heavy metal, evolution heavy metal category, it says in there.
Okay.
So in a Bronco DR. So,
and how did she do?
and she got 77th overall.
Okay, so that is their placing overall. That's not
of all the cars and all the divisions.
So that's not what number they were for registration. That is their placing.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing:
I was reading it correctly.
because it could be a little confusing because they actually they showed this other article here that Melissa wrote as well. It talked about a couple of Broncos and how they placed in the stock class for this. And I looked it up. They were the only two vehicles in the stock class. So it's like nobody else wanted to try it. Because here's the thing is, if you're a manufacturer and if you're going to take the chance to do something, you want to make sure it can be accomplished, right? Because you don't want to that's why some of these teams usually, I think, like some of these manufacturers, the first thing that goes is the racing team. Whereas Ford's like, no, that is separate. Ford Performance is separate. Toyota's TRD is supposed to be the Toyota's racing development or whatever, and so they still do pretty well with theirs. But like Ford's any of them, they don't want to venture into this. So there wasn't any Jeeps in the stock class. The only thing was in there was these two Broncos right here. So
right.
One of them was a stock Bronco Raptor, right? And he finished. Brad Level is really good. Him and I think it is his son this year.
Yes.
And I don't know what year Bronco it is, but it is a stock Bronco Raptor, and he got 31st overall. And some of the other vehicles that are considered in the cars are also like your Polarises and Can-Ams and those vehicles, which really their suspensions are a little more well built for this kind of terrain. And so when you look at some of the other ones, of course, a lot of the other vehicles were highly modified. If there's an F-150 in here, but it's under the historic truck and truggy or something. It's like a truck buggy. So they really modified that. It's not in a stock class at all. So some of these Chevy Silverado got third. It's, again, heavily modified types of vehicles and that kind of stuff. But yeah, pretty cool. There's another F-150 that got 10th. But there's also some Mavericks in here. They're Can-Am. So there's a Maverick trim and a Can-Am mix, a Maverick. Anyway, so yeah, pretty good. So Level did well with the Bronco Raptor. And then that other Bronco over there in the background is a stock Bronco. They said the only thing they modified is what they had to for safety, to pass safety inspections, right? So probably is different seats. But Melissa did interview them. In fact, this is Melissa's article right here. You can, I don't know if you guys can read it if you're not members, but so one of the, I think in here they mention down here, if you read it, the engineers, I think were part of this. Actually, this is an article, I think. Did Melissa write this in? Yeah, I think she wrote this before Norra started.
Yep.
And talked about the two teams and the Bronco teams that were going to be in there, right? She kind of goes through a little bit. I love about her because you learn more about it. Because I learned some stuff about Easter Jeep Safari. I think it was just Jeep, and it's not. So I learned a lot from her articles, especially because I haven't really been in this off-road community very long. But to learn that, and they do a lot of off-road races. But
I like all my conversations with them.
Oh yeah, I learned so much from them. In here, they don't really 725. It's engineer meets fireman. It says in here. So one of the Ford engineers raced this, and then
Jason and Paul.
But that's not who actually. It's not who's on record. It's Seth.
Team 725.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's Seth. So they must have changed it out before it. But so what they don't tell you in here, and I don't think they list it anywhere, is that Bronco on the left, you can tell it's a 25 model year. And the reason I think it's a 25 model year, but the mirror caps, door handles are painted. So I believe that's an Outer Banks, and it looks like it's an Outer Banks. stock Outer Banks Sasquatch, but they changed the wheels out, did not change the tie rods, and it's on a 2.3 liter EcoBoost motor, 10-speed automatic transmission. That not only finished, but they placed 58th overall.
Wow.
And let me tell you, I think these are changed about. Let's see. Let's see, where did I get that? I can tell you how many finished. So 125 vehicles finished. There's a lot of them did not even finish the race because of how grueling it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they not only finished, but they got in the, pretty high up there, in a stock Bronco. So they said it was still blowing cold air out of the AC. AC still working in it, of course. And yeah, pretty cool. So it's a stock. I mean, you can tell. You can look at it over there. That thing, they took off the on the modular front bumper. You can take off that corner slot. They took that off, but they still have. They left the fender flares on.
Right.
I mean, they left all the stuff on. It's got a black hard top. It's a 4-door. They put some lights on the top, but they didn't really had. Oh, and they do have some of the lights on the A-pillars, but really they added some lights to it and didn't change out the tie rods or the suspension or anything. That's saying something about the Bronco. And that's what they were wanting to show is that you can take a stock Bronco, and they drove 1,400 miles in the rough Baja terrain. And they actually placed before Shelby Hall did in a Bronco DR.
Right.
That is really saying something. So, when you think about it, I guess where I'm going with this is that you can buy a Bronco right off out of the factory, and you have a very off-road capable and worthy vehicle, as long as it's got a front rear locker.
Right.
Upgraded suspension. But to be honest, Baja, I don't know. I don't think they run with a front locker. Maybe they do when you go to Baja mode. But like that Bronco, the Outer Banks Bronco there, they don't have a Baja mode. The Raptor does, right? I don't think the Outer Banks gets a Baja mode. It's probably a sand mode.
Yep.
And I think it puts it in 4 auto. But that otherwise, I don't think you need a front locker. So could I take my Bronco and go do the Baja? Is that the next thing?
I mean, do it like Rod Hall. Just go out there. It's just another adventure to take on.
I don't know if I can. I'm not big on what I like about off-road.
I'll be your partner.
Like what we do. I like the slow rock crawl type of off-roading.
I like the fast. Let's go.
So I don't know.
I'll be your partner.
Anyway.
Let's go do it.
I think your mom there, she was like, "No, you're not taking my Bronco to the Baja." Anyway, so
once you get her Bronco, then we can take it, and we'll do father-daughter team and just go for it.
There you go. Anyway, all right. So there's that. So yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that's really all I had. But man, that's a pretty cool off-road event that they did, and it's they used to call it Baja. So, back the Strop Bronco is when you hear the Baja Bronco, that's the event that they took, the very first stock Bronco, and so you see in here that like the vehicles won the stock Bronco class or a stock class, but they were only 2 entered. But when we talk about that Rod Hall won the Baja 1000.
Mm-hmm.
He did it in a stock Bronco, a Strop Bronco.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about getting first place in all categories, not just in stock. He got it first. He beat all the highly modified vehicles back in 60s, right? And 70 was, I think, early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back then. So, which your interview is really good because Shelby did mention about how he actually was driving Jeep.
Yes.
And they kept beating them.
Yeah. If you'd like the full history, there's a documentary out there about him. One More Win. Go watch it. It's a lot of fun to watch. It goes over the history of Baja, goes over his history, how he got into Strop. It's a really good one to watch. But he went out there. He started off-roading in a pink colored Jeep. It was like a salmon color, was off-roading, and he heard about the Baja, and he's like, well, let's go. So they took a cooler, a couple of food for a couple of days, and they just went at it like it was just another off-road adventure, and just did it and won.
Yeah. Now,
So-
now to know that they said it's the Strop Bronco was the first time a stock and the only time a stock
Yeah.
Broncos won that event, which means he probably raced in Jeeps that were highly modified. So I would assume, but
Mom's comment. She says, "I'll be dead one day. You can go then."
anyway, yeah, if I did it, I'd probably be dead before her. But
I'm going to do Rebel. At some point, I'm doing it. But
work on signals when you need parts.
yes, I need a man behind the camera out there, like Melissa has Brian. But I really like. Jenna told me today about an online rally. I was telling you about that. So you go in, and each week they come up with different objectives and challenges that you need to complete. And you have all week to do it until Monday. So each Monday it refreshes and you get your challenges.
Yeah.
That is really cool because you could do it anywhere.
Yeah.
I might look into that. Hey, I was like, well, I guess Tim's Bronco might get stolen for a little bit each week. Just show up. What are you doing here? Nothing. And then here's the Bronco driving away.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
we'll see what my C-Max can do.
All right. Do you have any questions?
Not really. We've been talking about tornadoes and
it's gonna be
other
it'd
things.
be hard to get some good shorts in this week if we don't have anything.
Our job, we must be doing our job well.
Yeah, that everybody left because it was boring.
A poker run, yeah. That'd be more your speed.
They do that at Supercell. They do poker runs. They do it Tennessee anyway. I don't know about
Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Yep. So there's that.
Kyle asked me. He saw my poker chips. He's like, "You collecting dollar poker chips from Vegas?" I'm like, "Kyle, I've been to Vegas twice, and I didn't. I went in the casino once, both times, and I only did a slot machine." I was like, "No, these are Broncos," and I showed him, and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool."
People's Broncos. Should I do poker chips and get some?
I'm trying to, but
I got the trading cards.
the lady that makes them hasn't messaged me back. But I messaged her before Supercell.
Does it? You got to go through someplace, or
there's a lady.
I mean, isn't it just a sticker on a poker chip?
For
I got some poker chips from Vegas. Can I just take their stickers off and put a
for some,
sticker?
yeah. But like she does the printed on ones. Ones that are printed onto there.
These are just stickers. Not just, they're stickers. Sorry.
Right. Anyways, it's Swamp Thing Texas TX. She makes them. But I messaged her before Supercell, so
I'll stick to the trading cards. Come to the Maverick meetup, you get a trading card. Anyway. Of a Bronco.
I got my all women driven patches.
Yep. I was already think, oh shoot, if I change the skid plates, I'm gonna have to update the Bronco stickers. I'm like, no, I don't, because they're from the side, so you can't tell.
Yep.
As long as I don't change anything from the side. Oh, we are gonna change something from the side eventually. So we'll see.
Well, at that point, then you get new stickers.
We'll have to wait a while. We get rid of these patches. Anyway. All right. No questions? I don't know what else to talk about.
Nope.
Yep. You guys know so I was looking at our trip. So, which is what I typically do. Right now the free time is to do that. And instead of doing stuff I should be doing around the house. Getting ready for that trip. But of course figuring out where we're gonna go and everything. So we've kind of planned some activities. We're gonna hit Sedona, doing some off-road and several trails one day. We're gonna hit Cinder Hills OHV, I think, one day, or at least part of the day. But also looking to see the route. And at one point I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Route 66 goes through New Mexico. So we're going to be on Route 66 from Albuquerque to Flagstaff.
Yeah.
So we're going to be on Route 66. So I'm like, oh, we might have to allow a little more time to stop at some places because there's a lot of like the older stores and all that
Yeah.
that haven't changed, and they have some of the Route 66 memorabilia and stuff and signs and stuff.
I have a deck of
So-
cards from when Grandma and Grandpa took Route 66 out.
I'll have to, and that goes from what I understand because I knew of Route 66, right? I mean, right? What's that show? Cars. Yes.
Get your kicks.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that starts like supposed to go from Chicago down. It catches just a little bit of Kansas, one little corner of Kansas, through down into Oklahoma,
Although-
Texas, and then over across into New Mexico.
If you talk to people in Monument, some of them say that the road that goes through Monument is part of Route 66.
Whatever. It's a little far
It's
west.
also been said, they also say that that's the hometown of Buffalo Bill. But when I did my research in high school, because I was like, oh, I know the hometown of Buffalo Bill. I'll do my research on him. That's not his hometown. So
no, but what's the trail? Chisholm Trail, I think. Maybe. I know Chisholm Trail goes through part of Abilene, right?
Okay.
Through,
yeah,
right?
it does.
From Abilene to here, you can take the Chisholm Trail.
Salina or Kansas has trails all over it if you just know where to look for them. There's one out
There are
by...
some people that still believe that we still drive wagons around here and that they can't believe we have cars. Just saying. I've met some people. You guys drive cars in Kansas? I thought you only had wagons.
I mean, a lot of farmers don't even use horses anymore. They use dogs and four-wheelers to round their cattle up.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot cheaper than a horse.
Right. Anyway, but yeah, so we're gonna hit some of Route 66. So we're gonna actually come down and we're gonna hit 40 and Route 66 right about right around Albuquerque. We're gonna come down through Kansas at kind of an angle. We're gonna hit just a little bit of Oklahoma. We're going and then I technically going to be maybe a little bit in Texas, but I think we're gonna miss most of Texas. We're gonna go. We're going to hit just a little bit of Panhandle and just a tiny bit of Texas.
Yep.
And then we're going to go down to Flagstaff and then over into Utah and then we're going to hit Four Corners on the way back and then hit the southern part of Colorado and maybe see the dunes that Henry went to and then on up Colorado Springs or actually come more of an angle. We're going to stay below Colorado Springs actually.
Yeah.
And into Kansas. It'll be fun.
So Mike wants to know if we know the size of the F-150 decal letters and numerals usually found on the rear side of the truck, usually where the 4x4 decals are on those models. If you want to message me, Mike, or email me,
we can measure.
We can measure or get with Aftermarket. They might know.
Yeah, because we switched out our
decals
on our Black Widows. Those are our custom decals on the Black Widows.
But they're the same size as the original. So they would probably know the sizing.
Yeah, more likely.
So. All right.
What is this here? Douglas. What's Douglas have to say here? He says the new 2021 or 21 to 25 Ford Bronco upgraded half shaft kit is now listed for sale in the Ford Performance catalog under part number M3429BU. Now I do know, oh wow, they're that much. I do know that if you want to add a front locker, I've looked into this. It's been a while since I looked into it. You have to upgrade the half shafts too. So I don't know. So yeah, eventually we'll probably turn in the Bronco into the only reason I'm thinking, because I said I don't really need it, but then there were some times where like when we went to Texas where I felt like, okay, I want to feel comfortable that if I have a front locker if I needed it, right? Because there's sometimes I'm like, well, the only reason I don't feel like I can do that trail is if I feel like I need that front locker. I mean, but most situations you can do it with the right technique. So, and that's where we're trying to get better with our technique, which we have.
You guys need to just go do an intensive with Melissa for a week.
Right. So, I don't know. There were some trails I was looking at in like Utah and in Arizona
you know what?
that I was just like, maybe we should stay away from that one because, I don't You know, some of
Yeah.
it's like
Mom
some of the
needs to
bigger
learn
rocks
how to
are not.
navigate and go do Rebel with Melissa. Best way of learning.
You do know they don't shower every day.
I know.
Just like
Do you think, Mom, would you do Rebel with me?
it's tents only, right? And I
Yeah.
think only when they have base camp where they can actually shower. I think
Mm-hmm.
so because there's usually when they do the overlanding,
Yeah.
a couple times. So
When you have to pitch your own tent and have your own food and do all of that, those nights they don't have showers.
Yeah.
Think I could get her out there with me? Should I go for Jenna or Allie?
One of you aren't coming back alive. Just saying. No disrespect from either ladies, but that I've heard the Rebel Rally puts your relationships to a test.
Yes, very true. But I think if Mom's driving, we'll be okay. I can navigate. She can drive. We'll be good.
Yeah.
I just gotta remember to tell her the directions.
Yeah. Anyway,
Maybe I'll check with Allie or
you just want your mom to go so you can use our Bronco.
Yeah.
She would want to be the driver. She want you to be the navigator.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She can be the driver. I'll be the navigator. We'll do it.
Well, she might be one for that.
That or Kelly or Allie. You know, there's people to talk to.
Right.
Mom. Well,
She's retiring soon.
Once the boys are older. Not anytime soon. Once the boys are in full-time school.
Yep. There you go.
All right.
All right.
Time to hop off.
All right. That's all we have. Okay.
Past 9.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us. For those you still have some starred comments. What are these about here?
Sorry. Whoa. I do. Okay, take that one off. Did you make a decision on your 25 expedition?
We haven't.
They're talking. If I order mach-e, can I lock in the free charger in addition to employee pricing?
Yeah, because that's an incentive.
Okay.
So, I mean, so it should be able to be locked in. I don't really think that's going anywhere, to be honest. I mean, they give you expiration dates, but let's just be honest. They just keep extending that expiration date. It was supposed to expire at the end of 24, and then it continued. Like you notice, it continues each quarter. The only reason they moved it from the 30th to the 7th is because that's when current incentives actually go through. Current incentives don't expire until right after July 4th. So they're extending it for that reason. I don't think they're really going anywhere. So, yeah. So that's that. I don't know. So should be good on that. So anyway.
All right.
Okay. Well, there's that. But yeah. All right. Sounds good. So we'll see. Coming up, let's see here. We got what's this? Today's the 13th. So next week we'll be getting a lot closer to the 26 Super Duty. Because now it's kind of where I'm like, hey, we gotta be getting close to that. So we'll start having that coming up, and we'll start being able to do videos on that.
It's already time to start looking at 26.
Well, that's Super Duty. I don't know, because 20 Super Duty, usually most models go on a 3 and 6 run. So that means every 3 years they do a refresh, every 6 years they do a redesign. Well, we got a redesign for the Super Duty in 23. So that's 24, 25, 26 should be a refresh. So it may be why it's doing this early is it may be a refresh.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I haven't seen any like rumors or anything. So we'll just have to see. We might need to reach out to Dawn and see if there's anything that we need to know and be ready for. But so be looking for that, because that day typically order guides will come out that day unless they release something early. So we'll be doing that. I kind of almost want to save it for Super Duty Saturday, but we'll just have to see. I'll do my order guides and everything else, or the build and price type videos and everything. But I don't know. We'll just have to see, because if order guides come out it's sometimes really difficult for me to get it done that day, that maybe I will just hold off on Super Duty for Saturday and do what's new for the 26th, and just leave it for Super Duty Saturday. Always looking for content for Super Duty Saturday, because I feel like it's a little bit harder to do stuff on that, but I guess I could do what I'm doing with the Maverick stuff on Super Duty. But anyway, all right.
Mike Kim has a question about Bronco wrap.
What about it?
He's re-asking it because I missed it.
What's the question about the Bronco wrap?
I don't know.
I missed the question.
I missed the question.
Yes. Go ahead and put the question back in there.
He's getting it.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't see.
Oh, I found it. Have you seen a textured wrap? A Bronco passed me yesterday that I first thought was wrapped in stucco. It's a textured wrap. Really cool looking.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some things. Remember the was it Black Widow or Rocky Ridge remember when we had that matte film?
Yeah.
But it was textured too.
Yes.
Remember? Kind of?
Yeah.
It was
slightly, yeah.
It wasn't just now they're doing more of a matte finish, but that one was like a textured type of thing, kind of like that. But I have not, seen one. So
yeah.
Anyway, yep.
All right.
So I've seen Land Rover has a Defender they got this. It's like a really souped up Defender, I guess, where it's supercharged and everything. And so they talked about how this is the ultimate off-road vehicle and supercharged and everything else. Well, I think it's really weird because they have this matte film on it in the wrong places, in my opinion. So usually when you're off-roading, you get that sun hits that hood,
yeah,
right? And those hoods that are the reason people will put a vinyl on the hood is because of the glare to break down that sun glare from coming in.
Yeah.
So this Land Rover Defender, it's high gloss on the hood and it's matte on the side. And I'm like, you guys got it backwards. I said, you need that matte finish. I said, you can tell this thing isn't really for a true off-roader. It's really just for somebody that wants to spend $150,000 on a off-road souped up vehicle that they're really not going to take off-road, but just say they have it. So, you know, because they have it backwards. You would want that matte film on the hood if you're really off-roading with it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the different wraps and everything on the different vehicles. You'll see there's a reason why the Baja, the Strop Bronco is a black matte film, right? It's because of the sun glare. So you don't have sun glare. That's one reason why they did that to those hoods, was to break down that glare.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of funny. I don't know. We have one here. Just came in. Get through the system, but I think it's like that's backwards the way it should be. Anyway, oh well. You know that I'm kind of getting into the Bronco stuff when I start criticizing some of the ones that are like off-road. It's like well, not most people aren't going to off-road their vehicles like you are. Like, well, there's more than you think, and it's becoming more, especially women.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And yeah. So anyway, all right, that's all we have. All right. Well, hope you guys had a good week and enjoyed the episode tonight. And don't forget to come back next week as we have another episode, and catch out our other videos this week. And we'll cut out some of these into shorts as well for this week. So make sure you're subscribed and following, and have that notification bell turned on so you don't miss any of those videos. And good luck to those I know some people in here that are trying to get scheduled. Hope for the best on your orders and to get them scheduled. And yeah. So yeah. Hopefully it happens for you, especially our customers. Anyway, especially those F450s, man. If we get those 3 that are previewing scheduled, that'll be nice, because those regular cabs are probably business ones, so they'll just reorder pretty easily. It's not a big deal. They're used to that, but yeah. So hopefully that happens for you as well. And other than that, that's all we have. All right. Well, till you next video. Thank you for watching. Stay positive. Be kind to one another.
Be kind to yourself.
See you later.
Bye.